Hey guys, tonight I'm going to do a really brief mock draft here before RGR Football starts their live theme stream. And tonight's theme is just going to be based off of um, today's signing of Joe Tooney. I haven't heard about any other draft or any other signings by the Chiefs yet, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that we will sign a left tackle, uh, and so basically I'm gonna kind of take offensive line somewhat off of our board here, not completely off the board. I won't make any trades here just because I want to get this over with in a few minutes. And man, as soon as I say that, there's Elijah Vera Tucker there, screaming draft me. And so it's really hard to know what they'll do. And so, they very well could draft someone. They could sign a left tackle for a few years. But let's just pretend for the sake of this draft that because Tooney's cap hit was only $4.5 million for 2021, that they're still planning to go all out for someone like Trent Williams. And so let's just say that in that scenario, they're not drafting a left tackle to set for the next 3 or 4 years. And so at least not in the early rounds. Let's say also that interior offensive line, with the exception of possibly center, is also off the board. And I guess it's always a possibility that with LDT status that he's gone next year. I think there's also some scenarios where they sign their left tackle and they're good, and then whatever, if something happens in the draft where an offensive tackle falls to them, then they draft a tackle, they put that guy in the right side, they kick Niang in to guard, and they trade LDT. I mean, I think that kind of Veach's idea is to have some kind of roster versatility with that, where they're not stuck having to put a round peg in a square hole or vice versa. And so I could see it playing out like that, where their idea is that if Niang is the right tackle, then great, they're happy with that. If they can get a tackle for the right side and kick Niang into guard and trade LDT for something, then hey, I mean, why not? And so, but for the sake of this scenario, we're going to pretend that the Chiefs sign Trent Williams, or at least some kind of adequate replacement for Eric Fisher for the next 3 or 4 years, and that they're not going to take a tackle. They're probably not going to take a interior offensive line, at least with the first few picks. And maybe get some guys later that they can develop who will be ready in 2 or 3 or 4 years. And outside of center, that they're probably not going to address offensive line, at least for the sake of the theme for this mock draft. And so with that said here, I'm going to cry some people to sleep, and I'm going to pass on Elijah Vera Tucker. I'm just going to go ahead, make some people happy here. And again, I know that I favor getting a linebacker more than other people may, but that's the position I went with for this draft. And maybe we'll do another similar themed draft later and see where that takes us. But for now, that was the pick. Decline. Okay. And Dylan Moses was there, so we could have went with Dylan Moses. I'm going to kind of play the we'll go ahead and take Josh Myers. I would hope though that Allegretti gets a shot at center with Tooney on one side and LDT on the other. Just with what Allegretti showed this year, I think that he could do a pretty good job and could be possibly our long-term answer at center. So I'm going to go ahead and we're in round 3 here, so I think that this could be a spot where maybe if our scenario went down, you could see the Chiefs take an offensive lineman. And so we're going to take Spencer Brown here, not pass on him, and we'll see what happens the rest of our draft here. And we'll see what happens with the rest of free agency, because they may make some more signings here that kind of free them up. And I think that's what Veach wants to do, is at least get adequate players at each position, so where he doesn't feel that he has to reach for this player or that particular player. So I think what we're going to do here is kind of sticking with our 3rd round pick. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and take another offensive lineman, since I've said that we're not going to take offensive linemen early, but we pick one up in round 3 and we pick one up in round 4. So now we have a guy who can replace LDT. We have our center, although I really do hope Allegretti can fit in there, and then we'll go ahead and get our edge player out of the way. We'll just double up on Northern Iowa Panthers. Decline. And we'll make a few more picks, and then we'll be done here. Like I said, we'll come up with some more creative scenarios for the Chiefs, and just have some fun with different mock drafts. And it's really hard to just know what's going to happen, especially with free agency. So, all right, we'll let's see. We already grabbed our edge. We'll go ahead and get a cornerback. I'm just kind of going best player available with some semblance of position of need for the sake of this draft and for the sake of brevity's sake. All right, so that's our last pick there. I'm going to hold this up. We're not going to wait for the rest of the draft here, so I can get signed in and watched RGR here, and plug for them, RGR Football, your best source for Chiefs and Chiefs news and Chiefs, all things Chiefs. So we have a pretty good draft here, a little offensive line heavy for my liking, but that's just the way this one shaped up. We'll do another one maybe later tonight or tomorrow, and we'll see how those go. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great night.